Once upon a time in the city of Abuja, there lived a young girl called Benita John. She had one dream, to get an education and change her family's life. When she won a full scholarship to Brightway High, the most prestigious school in Abuja, she thought her future was bright. But from the first day she stepped into the school, she knew she didn't belong. Brightway High was for the children of the rich and powerful, senators' kids, business tycoons' children, and the elite of society. They arrived in expensive cars, wearing designer clothes. Benita arrived with a small bag and a heart full of hope. Her presence was an insult to them. She's just a poor girl. She doesn't belong here. How can she be the best student? Did she cheat? No matter how hard she tries, she will always be a beggar. But Benita didn't let their words break her. She focused on her studies, worked harder than anyone, and became the top student in the school's history. And that made them hate her even more. Among her bullies, three were the worst. Janet Lowell, daughter of a powerful senator. She was beautiful, rich, and used to getting everything she wanted. Patricia Okocha, whose father owned half of Abuja's biggest businesses. She followed Janet like a shadow. Duro Williams, the arrogant son of a famous judge. He enjoyed making people suffer. They saw Benita as a stain on their school, a poor girl embarrassing them by being better. One day, Janet came up with a plan. "Let's get rid of her," she said. Patricia and Duro laughed. "How?" Patricia asked. "Leave it to me," Janet replied with a wicked smile. Janet and Patricia invited Benita to a special Brightway tradition. They told her the senior students had a secret party deep in the woods behind the school. "It's an initiation," Janet said. "Come with us, and we'll finally accept you," Patricia added. Benita hesitated. She knew these girls were cruel, but a small part of her wanted to believe them. Maybe if they accepted her, the bullying would stop. So she agreed. That night, the three girls, along with Doro and a few others, went deep into the forest. Music played from a small speaker, and they laughed as if they were all friends. Then suddenly, Benita felt hands grab her. What are you doing?" she cried. Duro pushed her to the ground. Janet and Patricia tied her hands. "You should have stayed in the gutter where you belong," Janet sneered. Benita struggled, screaming, but the music drowned out her cries. That was when she saw it. A deep hole, already dug, waiting. Her heart pounded. "No, please." They didn't listen. They threw her inside. She hit the bottom hard, dirt covering her face. Then the shoveling began. "Please," Benita screamed. The soil covered her legs. "Stop!" My waist. "I can't breathe." My chest. The last thing she heard was Janet's cold voice. "Goodbye, scholarship girl." Then darkness. The next morning, Brightway High was buzzing. Benita was missing. The teachers searched, the students whispered, but Janet, Patricia, and Duro acted as if nothing had happened. Then, strange things began. Duro was the first to notice. That night, he woke up shivering. His room was freezing. He turned to his window and saw a handprint, not just any handprint, one made of muddy soil. His heart pounded. He wiped it away, trying to convince himself it was nothing. But the next morning, there was dirt in his bed. Patricia was next. She was in the bathroom washing her face when she looked up at the mirror and saw Benita standing behind her. Her skin was pale, lips cracked, her eyes empty. "You buried me, Patricia." Patricia screamed. She ran out, shaking, but when she turned around, the bathroom was empty. Was she losing her mind? Janet tried to stay calm. "It's just guilt," she told herself. But then she started hearing whispers. "Why did you do this to me? I trusted you. I'm still here." At night, she felt cold fingers brushing her skin. She was afraid to sleep, but it didn't matter because Benita was waiting. Patricia was the first to die. The students found her in the library the next morning, slumped over a book, her mouth open in a silent scream. Her hands were covered in soil. No one knew what had happened, but Janet and Duro knew. Janet tried to run. She packed her bags, ready to leave school forever. But as she opened her dorm room door, she froze. Benita was standing there. Mud dripped from her hair. Her school uniform was torn. Her hands, those cold, dead hands, reached out. "You buried me, Janet." Janet tried to scream, but no sound came out. The next morning, she was found in the school bathroom. Her reflection in the mirror was still frozen in terror. Duro was the last. He ran. He begged, "Please, I'm sorry." But the ghost of Benita did not forgive. That night, his screams echoed through the school. By morning, they found him in the woods. His nails were torn, his hands covered in blood. He had dug his own grave. After that, Brightway High was never the same. Some say they still hear whispers in the halls at night. "Bury me, bury me." Others claim to see a shadow near the woods, a girl in a school uniform, waiting for the next person to forget that justice always finds a way, even from beyond the grave. The moral lesson of this story is that we should be careful of what we do, because justice always comes to light. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you get notified when I upload a new story.